everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Karina and welcome back to my panning journey. Today's video is all about this is Pantasy, and this is going to be my first update for this project. If you caught my intro, right, I've got all the details about the project, including its creator, the prompts, the themes, how it runs, all of that good stuff. But the basic overview is in this project, we have some prompts that correspond with different ideas of what you can use. We randomize a couple prompts in, and then we work on completing some projects. So this is a rolling project pan, and I've got some good progress to share. So I've got some usage goals, and I have some goals that I have met for this update. So if you've enjoyed project pans, give that video a thumbs up, and let's just dive right into the content. In my intro, I rolled in 5 particular prompts, and I had picked out my items to go with it. And the very first prompt that I rolled in was for the unicorn. The unicorn was an unused or untouched item that was in your collection, and the one I rolled in was this guy. So this is the Revlon, this is their Ultra Plumping Lip Cream. Sorry, this is the Revlon Kiss Plumping Lip Cream. It was brand new when I started. I had a goal to use this 25 times, and I'm very pleased to say I have used it the 25 times. I do have a little bit of a progress line, so you can't really tell unless you shine a flashlight through. So it was full when we started, and now we're at that black line way up there. So it is a little bit deceptive, right? It looks like there isn't much product in here, but there actually is 7.1 grams. There's a fair amount in there. 25 uses got me to here. So this is the first item that I have met my goal on for this project, and we'll be doing all the roll-ins at the end after I talk about all of my progress. All right, the second item that we rolled in was for the Cyclops, which is going to be a single shadow or a single pan item. And what I decided to roll in, which is really great timing, is this guy. So this is my champagne. This is the Covergirl Eyeshadow in Champagne. You'll see where I was last time, and that is where I am now. So I am making pretty good progress on this, right? I've been focusing for the under the brow bone, which I do pretty much all the time. I've kind of been working down this way, and then in the inner corner, I'm wearing this today. I've been working on wearing down this top and kind of getting this part a little bit more thinned out. So you can see that dip there. I'm super thrilled with that progress. I am not counting my uses on this simply because this is going to take me forever, essentially. And because I'm using such a small amount under the eyebrow and in the inner corner, it's going to take forever. Now, I do use this generally every day, sometimes twice a day if I'm retouching up or if I redo my makeup. So that can give you a general sense of how many times I've used it, but we're making slow but steady progress. You'll be seeing this basically for the entire project, but I am really excited to track my progress and see how far we can get. The third item I rolled in was for the vampire. So the vampire's prompt corresponds with a blood red product, and I have chosen my Tom Ford mini red lipstick in 16 Scarlet Rouge. This is where we were last time, and this is where we are this time. I haven't used this as much as I was hoping to use it. It is what I am wearing today. I have used this. I've only used it 6 times so far, and the goal is to finish this particular item. So, slow but steady, this is where we're at. There's not a whole lot of product in there. As you guys can see from the picture, right, even with just those 6 uses, I did make some decent progress on it. But yeah. And obviously, as you can see, a bit of a difference. It looks much darker in the tube than it does on the lip. So, generally, I tend to put like a red lip liner so it comes a little bit more true to the color in the tube. But today I wanted to show you guys what it looked like just on its own. So we'll keep plugging away at this. And we'll get there when we get there, right? It does roll a fair amount down, so that's always exciting to indicate its progress as well. The fourth item I rolled in was for the prompt, the Werewolf, which is a celestial themed item. And I had rolled in my Ditto Venus palette, which was a limited edition palette. Now, when I filmed the intro to this project, I had not decided at that point to do the eyeshadow usage project where basically I roll in randomized eyeshadow within my collection and I want to use that eyeshadow 10 times. So when I had originally filmed this intro, I set the goal usage of 25 uses on the entire palette, and I do tend to use my palettes holistically, meaning if I'm using something in this palette, then I'm going to only use this palette except for using the little single for the highlighting component. So that being said, going forward, I do still want to be able to roll eyeshadow palettes for some of the prompts in this particular project, but I'll probably align it in the future to be 10 uses for the palette compared to 25, which I did for this one. So the goal, of course, was 25 uses, and I've actually managed to use it 15 times, which basically means I only have 10 uses left to meet my goal, which is basically the same as what I would be rolling into my eyeshadow usage project. So that's kind of exciting. It is the palette I'm wearing today, and it's not going to look a whole lot different from the last time you guys saw this palette. I have now used every single shade within this palette, and you can probably see the ones I'm gravitating towards the most. Probably the biggest change, right, in Phoebus here, this is the one I use in my crease basically every time I use this palette. You can see those lines have really worn down, right? They used to look much more like this. The red, which I'm also wearing today, you can see we've got quite a dip in that one, even though I don't use it a whole often. I use Mercury all the time to set my eyeshadow primer, so that one gets a fair amount of use. And then I just kind of pick and play throughout one of these two to deepen the outer corner. So we've got some play in there. I have 10 uses left on this palette. So now that I have set the goal for using the eyeshadow palette in that project, I'm going to guess probably 2 months for this one to roll out of this project. The last item that I had rolled in for my project was for the prompt The Mermaid, which is a women-owned brand. And I have rolled in the Beauty Bakerie Milk and Honey Highlighting Palette with the goal to use any of these highlights. I wanted to use any of them 25 times. I only used it 7. And this is the story time. This is where we're at. So when I had used this palette previously in a Shop My Stash kind of rotation, I did enjoy the palette. But it was also in the summer months. So obviously, as I talked about in my intro, this shade on Queen Being, that's too dark for me no matter what. And I was hoping, especially this lightest shade here, and spoiler alert, would be a good winter shade. But what I've realized through the 7 uses of using these 3 here, Oh Honey, spoiler alert, and Be Sweet, they're all either too dark, too glittery, too metallic. I don't like them on my complexion as it is now in the winter. So I decided I'm going to roll this out for now, just because I don't like the look, and if I don't like the look, then that kind of defeats the whole purpose of doing makeup. So this is going to be on the chopping block. I'm going to come back to this highlighter palette once I do have summer color and decide my final judgment on this palette. Again, no matter what, Queen Being, this is too dark for me no matter what. Right now, Be Sweet is too dark for me. You see an orange strip. And both Oh Honey and Spoiler Alert are quite metallic on my skin tone at this point. And so again, you see that highlighter strip. So although I'd like something glowy, I don't like these, at least at this point. So to recap, we're rolling it out. It is on the chopping block. I will return to this in the summertime. And if I still don't like it, then you will see it in a declutter video, unfortunately. And hopefully someone else would be able to get better usage. If I decide I do like some of these tones within the summer, then I will keep them, and it will have to be one of those things I'm aware of that it's only going to get use during particular points in the year. So we met goal on my Revlon lip color, and we are rolling out the highlighting palette, which means we get to roll in 2 new items for this particular project. As you guys are seeing, I had used my Tiny Decisions app to randomly roll in 2 additional prompts, and I have already gone ahead and picked out the items for it. So the first prompt that we saw randomized for this update was the dragon, and the dragon is supposed to represent something that is big, or there's a lot of product, or it's substantial, right? So it's a big feat to defeat the dragon. So what I decided to do for that one is, because I have only finished one bronzer before, and it was in a face palette. It was in the Lucky Glow face palette, if you've seen that from my other projects. I have decided to roll in a classic bronzer with a usage goal. So the one I'm going to start us off with for the dragon is my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and it is in the shade Bronzer. So mine looks like this. So a little bit of some wear. We're starting to wear away on this side here. I use a big fluffy brush for the perimeter of my face, and then when I go in on the cheek, I tend to focus my brush more at the top, since I feel like the big fluffy brush doesn't get that one as much. Now, again, because this is a very large bronzer, it does have 11 grams of product in it. I'm starting off with simply a usage goal, and I want to use the bronzer. We're upping it because it's a dragon. I want to use it 50 times. So that is my goal. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but I do wear bronzer every day, so I want to make some usage on this. I do love that coconutty kind of smell, very tropical, but I do notice that the scent is changing just a little bit. It's not as strong and fresh smelling as it once was, which is why I do kind of want to prioritize this bronzer a little bit to make some progress. Ideally, eventually hit pan and use it up, but small goals. Start with small goals, because otherwise, you don't want to burn out on a particular product. But I do love this one. It is the bronzer I'm wearing today. Goal of 50 uses, and I'm excited to play with this. And the last prompt that I'm going to be rolling in for this update was the Chimera. And the Chimera is representative of a Franken product, so something that you have mixed together, combined things. And I don't have anything that actually fulfills that prompt. I haven't Frankened anything together. I've just started repressing stuff. Like, that's a whole new category I've only been doing the last couple months here. So, and just Frankening for the sake of Frankening, it's not something that, one, I have much interest in at this point, or two, I don't have the skill set to know what's going to go well together, so I don't want to ruin products or have to throw something out that I don't like. I still want to do the prompt, but I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different spin on it, and I hope that's okay, because I still want to honor the Chimera since it was rolled in. I just can't do the original prompt. So the Chimera is a fire-breathing creature, and when we're looking at different cultures like ancient Egypt, the fire-breathing lioness, which is kind of similar to the Chimera, was one of the earliest solar, and was a war deity in their particular culture. So what I've decided to do, and it is a reach, right, because we're going with a fire-breathing creature, and, you know, the sun is a ball of fire, and it's associated with Chimera-like creatures, I'm going to go with this blush in Sunbeam. Is it a reach? Yes, it is. But, you know, sun, fire, Chimera, we can kind of make it work, and I'm only going to do 15 uses on this blush. And so we can roll it out next month so we don't have to talk about the Chimera for very much longer. Is that okay? Does that work? I hope it works. This is the Elizabeth Arden. This is their blush 06 in Sunbeam. It's gotten just a little bit of use. It is the blush I am wearing today. But it is kind of bigger and bulkier, and I would like to form more of an opinion on it. The goal is 15 uses, so that we'll be able to roll it out next month, and then we can go back to our originally scheduled programming with the prompts that Ali has created, and not just me having to do a little bit of reach so I can honor the prompts. So that is all the progress. Those are the new roll-ins. Let's quickly talk about the goals that I have for this project. Obviously, as I just mentioned, for next month, I want to get my 15 uses on the Sun Blush so we can roll in a real prompt again. I don't think I'm going to be able to roll anything else out in my next update. So what I want to do is set some goals to help me for the next month after that to be able to roll things out. So the first one I want to do is that Ditto Venus palette. I would like to use it an additional 5 times, so I have 10 uses left. 5 is going to be half of them, so that I'll be able to roll this one out after another 5 uses the next month, so I have that good balance between this project but also my eyeshadow usage project. I also do want to focus more on my Tom Ford mini lipstick because again, it is a mini. I would like to get it out. I do have a project pan. It's the Lip Surface project pan, which is a Fantastic Ladies collaboration as well, where I do try to focus my lip products. But of course, I decided to join that project as well after I had filmed the intro for this one. So I would like to keep working on this. The goal is, of course, to finish this item. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that within a month, but I would like to try to use this one 10 times because this month I did only use it 6 times, and I was focused a little bit more on another bolder, brighter color that was also in the Lip Service project, so that's part of the reason why this one didn't get as much use. Alright, but that is everything for it. This is Pantasy. This, of course, was my first update for the project. Again, I will see you guys in another month for my update, so we'll see if I'm able to reach these goals. So make sure you don't miss that video by subscribing to my channel. And if you enjoy Project Pan content, and especially if you enjoy Fantastic Ladies Collabs Project Pan content, make sure you subscribe so you can see all the other projects that I am involved in. Currently, the Lip Service Project Pan, the Skincare Project Pan. I'm also doing Partners in Cream. There's obviously this Pantasy and my own take on the eyeshadow usage project pan. So instead of a pan that palette or pan those eyeshadows, that is my version so I don't burn out on the eyeshadows. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon.